everyone is cancelling former Spanish President Mariano Rajoy for saying what we all know, that the French national team is African.
Mariano Rajoy creates a diplomatic mess between France and Spain by writing in his column that the French national team plays without French players.
And where is the lie? Look, I know you're going to tell me that 23 out of the 26 players on the French national team were born in France, but we all know perfectly well what Mariano Rajoy meant. We all know it, let's not fool ourselves. And guys, for God's sake, just look at this. Only a Frenchman would put Pato Bonato here, please, let's see. Just look at that. Look at the origins of each player on the French national team. Look, incredible. Practically all of them are African. So far, we've seen 2 Europeans and one of them is actually Spanish. Incredible. Just look at that. Amazing. So what are you trying to tell me? It's impressive.
What happened this weekend? The match between France and Spain is hotter than ever, and it all started because of an article by the former Prime Minister. What was it?
It's just that he didn't tell any lies. He didn't tell any lies. Not everything is false. We know this is true.
He has received replies from Pedro Sanchez, the French left, the French government, and the French embassy in Spain. Rajoy said that the French national team has a very high-level squad, but without French players. The former president came to that conclusion. Let's see.
At the moment I'm recording this video, the match between France and Spain hasn't been played yet. Anything can happen. For me, France is the favorite. In fact, from my point of view, France is the top candidate to become world champion. However, Spain is a top-level team that could definitely beat France. I think Spain is capable. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but there's one thing we have to say. We can't deny the quality of the French team. From a footballing standpoint, they're simply a spectacular team. They play at a different pace. They play at a different level. The problem is that, guys, that team, well, we all know that the vast majority of those players aren't real Frenchmen.
In conclusion, why are all the players black even though most of them were born in France? This phrase caused a huge stir in the country we're facing on Tuesday. The French Minister of the Interior, Laurent Nunez, called Rajoy's statements absolutely unacceptable.
Why? So where's the lie? Why are they offended by something that's objectively true?
The Minister for Overseas Territories, Naima Moshul, went further and asked the French Football Federation to take all possible legal action against Rajoy's statements.
My God, I mean, these guys, it's crazy, they're unbearable. Let's remember what they did with the issue of the territories of Paraguay. Then, they tried to push overseas the idea that Argentina is a racist country. That was done by the French. Then, afterwards, exactly, football took legal action. In fact, the girl who said that Paraguay was a racist country ended up deleting the post. I mean, just imagine, on top of that, she was a so-called French influencer. Look, this woman is as French as Mbappe is French. But anyway, let's continue.
And even the French embassy in Spain was one of the first to respond. All the players on the French national team are French.
They'll tell you because they were born in France.
Out of the 26 players, 23 were born in France.
See? Oh, incredible. Do you know what the problem is with this statement? It's that saying this guy is French just because he was born in France, even though his parents are African. Well, that's a very Western thing. Because, for example, if 2 Colombians have a child in China, that child will never be Chinese. And exactly the same thing happens in the vast majority of Asian countries. Incredible but true. But anyway, let's continue.
The 3 who were born abroad are also French. These last 3 are Michael Olisek.
Of course. Super French, right?
Who was born in London to a British-Nigerian father and a French-Algerian mother.
That's his real nationality. Nigerian-Algerian. But anyway, his father is English. Look, I'm not denying that Olisek is a great player. He's an absolute star.
Marcus Thuram, born in Parma because his father, Lilian Thuram, played in Italy. And Bryce Samba, born in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Both the Deputy Minister of Equality and the First Secretary of the Socialist Party joined in the criticism of Rajoy. And the next one was Pedro Sanchez.
Which doesn't surprise me.
He quickly challenged Rajoy, saying Spain belongs to those who love and work for it, not those who shame it, with xenophobic remarks. What do you think?
Declaración. Xenophobic statements. The only thing he said is what we all know. And look, there were many French people who got angry and were really upset with Mariano Rajoy, and they said, "How dare you speak? Don't you realize that your best player is Moroccan?" Talking about the Yamal. Brother, don't you realize that you're proving Mariano Rajoy right? I mean, if for you the Yamal is from Morocco, then Mariano Rajoy is right. I mean, what these people do is unbelievable. It's astounding. And just so you see that the tweet is real, look, here's what it says. Mariano Rajoy, former Prime Minister of Spain, France versus Spain. France has a very good team. However, their players are not French. Which is true, but anyway. And here this person says, your best player is Moroccan. You're so dumb. And it's like, you're so dumb, brother. You're so dumb because what they're telling him here is, you're proving him right. If Lamine Yamal is Moroccan, then France is Senegal. Totally, guys. The same thing happens with England, just like when I watched the Switzerland versus Argentina match the other day. I was saying, hey, supposedly the Latin American team, the Hispanic team is Argentina, right? And the European team is Switzerland. Well, it doesn't seem like it. It seems to be the other way around. Or it seems like Argentina is playing against an almost African team. What Switzerland is doing is incredible, tremendous. But exactly the same thing is happening with a lot of the European teams. Do you see that? And not just with the European teams, the Canadian team too. Guys, the Canadian team had a lot of players, which we all know. In fact, someone here commented the following. Everyone is calling Mariano Rajoy everything except one thing. Liar. No one is calling him a liar. Very true. Many people are outraged and say his comments are terrible, they are condemnable, they are unforgivable, but no one tells him, you're lying. Look, outrage in France after the statements made by the former Spanish Prime Minister, Mariano Rajoy. He says that France has a team that plays at a very high level, but without any French players on the roster. Okay? He made the comments in a column for the Spanish newspaper El Debate ahead of the World Cup semi-final between France and Spain, a very high-level semi-final. I actually think it's practically an early final. They're the two best teams in the World Cup right now, and we'll see what happens. Keep in mind, it's highly likely that by the time you're watching this video, that match has already been played and we already know who advanced. But this isn't a soccer channel, we're not talking about soccer. I'm not denying the quality of these French players, I'm not denying it. They're great players. Mbappe is probably the best soccer player in the world right now, but honestly, there are things that can't be denied. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to know what you think, what your opinion is about all this. May the best team win between France and Spain. Guys, see you next time.